it's a new era for the Oregon Ducks and Dan Lanning. Lanning takes over the program that is still in good hands, one that has now new competition within the conference in terms of winning the Pac-12 championship. But when you look at the talent they have returning to campus, you're looking at a team that can still compete for a conference championship. The 10 guys that we'll talk about today are just kind of the tip of the iceberg. This is still a program that recruits at a high level. The talent that they have at the top is really good. Some of it is potential first-round talent, and it's just going to come down the depth behind them, and certain positions need to step up, and maybe a couple transfers that are coming in step up in a big way to help them achieve that goal. The Sewell family has been blessed with good genes, and Noah Sewell is the latest Sewell brother to grace the college football field. And the linebacker led the team in tackles, 114 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 5 passes defended, 1 interception. He is someone that you do not want to face on a weekly basis, someone that is just massive at terms of linebacker, but also runs really well for his size. He's really rising up on draft boards already. A lot of people are starting to look at his game a little bit more in depth, and they're finding a lot of things that they like. It's kind of hard to get away from him once he has you in his clutches, and that makes things really difficult for those looking for yards after contact. Again, he's the best linebacker that's going to be considered a pure linebacker. You're taking Will Anderson as more of an edge player than Noah Sewell. There's a couple other guys you can make an argument for, but Noah Sewell is one of those players that's going to be considered elite. One of the players that's going to be, if you have an NCAA video game, he's going to be a 90 plus overall, maybe pushing that 99 club if he has a good year. And he's going to be fun to watch if you're an Oregon Ducks fan. The next two you could flip-flop. I don't really have any argument here. TJ Bass brings plenty of versatility by being able to play both guard and tackle, and he's a very experienced player. This offensive line is going to be huge for Bo Nix, and we'll talk about Nix in a little bit. But this offensive line, including Bass, is one of the best units in college football, a group that has been together for a while and is super talented, has great size, and is going to make life easy for not only to bring a new quarterback, but they have a new running back running the show. And that's going to be huge with an offensive line that is going to be able to open holes for them and keep Bo Nix upright for the most part. The other guy being Alex Forsythe, the center, has been an all Pac-12 selection. Seems like every year that he's been on campus, and he's back for one more season. Going to be one of the best center prospects coming out of college for the next year's draft, and someone, like I said, ton of experience, good size, good athleticism, and the fact that he's an experienced center is going to make life easy for Bo Nix, at least easier, so they can figure out new calls and new changes and checks and whatnot. And that's going to be huge for a new quarterback and an offense that's looking to find some new pieces. We talked about Bo Nix earlier, and he just needed a change. It was just time to move on from Auburn, and it's going to be fun to watch him in Oregon's offense. If you watch the spring game, there are a lot of exciting things that he did. You saw a lot of nice throws, and you also saw kind of the magic that is Bo Nix, where you're probably going to give fans some headaches, but he's going to make some really nice plays. Now, you'd like to see him be a little bit more in control, I should say, and not making these Hail Mary throws or these top Sports Center top 10 plays that could turn into disaster. But that's part of Bo Nix's game. I'm excited to see what he can do in the Pac-12 because he's been on an Auburn team that has been kind of an underdog for the most part when he's been there. That's a group that I think could be so much better because that Oregon could be so much better and Bo Nix could be so much better because it's just a different competition. I would say it's a step down from the SEC. I think everybody would agree with that. And I'm excited to see what he can do against that kind of competition because he's been kind of like playing above himself or playing kind of just treading water, if you will. And now it's going to be interesting to see where he's in a conference that I think is more his speed, where he can, maybe dominate at times and show why he was the former 5-star that everybody's so excited to see at Auburn. Flipping back to the other side of the ball, losing Kayvon Thibodeau was always going to hurt, but Brandon Dorlus does return. Stats maybe don't jump out as much as you'd think with 25 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. But I think that Brandon Dorlus is a lot better than people give him credit for. I think that everybody was focused on number 5, trying to stop him, and just kind of assumed that you're not going to hear much from the other guys. But this is a group that still has good talent returning. Losing Thibodeau obviously is going to hurt, but they replace him with potentially DJ Johnson, former tight end. That's going to be really exciting to watch. But Dorless is a force in his own right, someone that can be a disruptive defensive tackle. That's going to be really fun to watch. Kind of a hybrid this year. It sounds like Mace Funa is going to be moving it to that edge role, playing on the defensive line. It could be another option to help replace Kayvon Thibodeau. Again, so you're not going to replace Kayvon Thibodeau with one guy. It's going to be kind of a by committee. Maybe they have some freak athlete that's going to do that, but you're just not going to be able to. He's just that good, and it's almost insulting to assume that you can just find another guy to step up. Oregon's recruiting at a high level, but they don't recruit Kayvon Thibodeau every single year. So Mace Funa could be a guy that could step up. The experience, he's a veteran. He knows that defense. He knows how to get his guys in position. So that's going to be fun to watch, and I'm excited to see what he can do in his new role. Linebacker Justin Flo can stay healthy. I think that you're looking at a tandem with him and Sewell that is the best in college football. And Justin Flo looks like a college football linebacker. He looked like that the moment he stepped on campus. He kind of has that like Sean Oakman meme already with the heads or tails. We're going to take the ball. Okay, yes, sir. That kind, if you haven't seen that meme already, it's just kind of that same sentiment. Justin Flo is an absolute headhunter. When he is out on the field, he is trying to destroy his competition. And we haven't seen it a ton because, again, he hasn't been healthy. But if he is healthy, that's going to be a scary tandem because Noah Sewell is the overall well-rounded linebacker that everybody knows and everybody has come to like and appreciate. But Justin Flo can be a highlight reel because of his hits. Now, obviously, targeting makes things a little bit more interesting, but the power that he has in his frame, even if he doesn't go headhunting, he knows how to make guys hurt, and he's going to make an impact, whether he's able to just fly to the football or play kind of more like Sewell, where you're just making the right read and getting to the football. He has the power, he has the natural ability, and that's going to be fun to watch. Safety Bennett Williams had 3 interceptions last year, and at times it just felt like he was everywhere. He felt like he was near the football every single play, and that is huge. The secondary is looking for some more depth this year. You look at Bennett Williams is back, Jamal Hill is back, Dante Manning is back. They get Christian Gonzalez from Colorado. This is a secondary that I think is very fun to watch this year. That's going to be I forgot Steve Stevens the fourth is back. That's a good group. That's a talented group. The back end, while the defensive line may have to figure some things out, the linebacker and secondary are going to be just fine. Like I said, it's going to be more of the edges that have to figure out who's going to be the starters, but the inside is going to be fine. Brandon Dorless is back. Popo Amavi is going to return as well, and he's just got a fun name to say. Plays at nose tackle for the Ducks, and I'm curious to see what Dan Lanning is going to do with him and how he's going to utilize him. One of the better defensive tackles, the interior defensive lineman in the entire country. 36 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. And not going to have the greatest stats, but he can make an impact outside of the box score. Finally, Chris Hudson is going to be the final one on the list. He is the most receiving yards from last year of any returning player. And he is the guy, if you remember, there was a clip of Mario Cristobal chewing out a wide receiver, and it was Chris Hudson. And Chris Hudson did not look away. He stared right back at Mario Cristobal. And I think that's what makes him so successful, is that there is nothing that phases him. He is a tough player. He is someone that Dan Lanning is really going to like right away because of the way he plays the game. And honestly, you can't really be mad at a player that is maybe not the most talented, but does not give up and does not give in. He has got the right mentality, and that's something that Oregon's going to need. You look at the first game, it's against Georgia. That's going to be really tough. This is a talented group, and you're facing the defending champs. It's going to be a tough test, and I think that Oregon has the talent to hang in there for a while. It's just a matter of how long, and it's going to be fun to see what they can do. And competing for a Pac-12 championship, regardless of how that game goes, should still be the goal.